Okay, welcome. And so today, what we're going to be talking about is the Insomnia Cure. The Insomnia Cure is an audio program that we put together from inside of our vagus nerve stimulation and repair program for our paid clients. And we got such great reviews of what people were experiencing here that I decided that this was so awesome and so monumental of a discovery of how the vagus nerve interacts with your memory, right? That if you can have an audio program that engages your memory functions of your prefrontal cortex and your insular cortex, which is where you have emotional memory, which is why people really have a difficult time getting to sleep. When they're trying to go to sleep, it's really impossible for them to filter through all the noise that their brain is generating, and they're just up all night looking at the ceiling going, geez, just let me go to sleep for the love of God. Please let me sleep. And so what we found is that there's a neural network in your vagus nerve that projects all the way up into the memory centers, important memory centers of your brain. And then what happens is that those memories, when you recall a memory and it is something that is like emotionally upsetting, then it shuts your vagus nerve down completely. So when your vagus nerve gets shut down, then you go into a sympathetic state and you start getting really stressed and anxious, and your body feels like it's activated. So it's like when you're about to go to sleep, you have the worst feelings of anxiety. And so this is a recurring problem. And then what that creates is just anxiety in general about even going to sleep in and of itself, which is really, really sad, really unfortunate. And so what we did is we said, how do we engage the network of memory that's going crazy when you're trying to go to sleep in cases of insomnia? And how do we give that memory network something else to focus on instead of the original memories that it was going to think about? That conversation I had with Becky, or or with Karen, or my neighbor Todd, and he yelled at me about the cat, and I forgot to take out the trash, or I had that one thing I was supposed to do today and I've totally forgot it. Oh me, oh my. And this is like the worst time to be thinking about that is right when you're trying to go to sleep. Like when you're laying in bed, ready to sleep, and thinking about that. So we found that we can engage specific memory lists that have no emotional valence to them at all, which is good. And as you start to plod through the specific 25 memory items, you're basically occupying big portions of your cortex and of your memory. And so that's what we have. That's what we developed today. So I'm going to show you real quickly the document so you can go see it yourself, and we'll just talk about what the guidebook is. This is an incredible guide. I mean, this is essentially like more or less a pretty remarkable discovery in how to actually treat insomnia without drugs, without even stimulating your vagus nerve. You don't even need to be stimulating your vagus nerve to do this. Little tip though, when you are engaging your memory, you are actually stimulating your vagus nerve. You are 100% doing vagus nerve stimulation by doing this practice, but it's through sound only. So if you just want to experiment with, I want to stimulate my vagus nerve right when I need to, right before bed, so I can get into a parasympathetic state, I can turn down the sympathetic anxiety and just allow myself to calmly and seamlessly drift off into sleepland. And that's what this does, okay? So I'm just going to show up on screen here. All that is required are just a few simple little things in your house that you load the audio on. So just so you know, what the insomnia treatment is that we're talking about is it's a memory programming protocol. Sort of like when, back in the 80s and the 90s, they would sell you those tapes that would like help you stop smoking or make you smarter or learn a language, where they'd say like, oh, it's hypnotic suggestions that you listen to while you're going to sleep, so you'll learn better. And this is not that, but it is similar in the sense that you're going to be laying down in bed and actually having the audio playing while you're trying to go to sleep. The intention is to put you out right there in bed. The good news is that you don't have to listen to it for the entire night. Generally, what happens is we have a headband. Well, we don't. This is one that you can just get on Amazon. But there's a headband which has speakers embedded into the side. So it's a very soft little microphone or speaker. And so you put this on, and it goes over your ear, and it's going to play an audio. And while that audio is playing, you're going to notice that you're going to drift off to sleep, like just like really slowly drift off to sleepland. And you can take this off at any time in the night. Generally speaking, you'll just, you can easily kind of like roll out of it when you're asleep. So this is that. And then what the audio gets loaded onto is this. And this is a little MP3 player. What this will do is it will store the MP3. The audio program that we're talking about here is, so the audio is free. This thing costs like, I think $14, and this thing costs like $14. So they're very, very, very affordable. I think everybody should get this. I use it. It's like, wow, you can literally feel yourself, going slowly descending into that dreamlike state when you're listening to this. Okay. It's pretty remarkable. So yeah, you just load the audio onto this little MP3 device. Then it's only got a couple buttons. It's got a play button, a volume button, and a skip track button. You won't have to use the skip track button. It's not complex. You're not going to have to find anything. There's no screen. There's no Bluetooth on this either. This is a Bluetooth-free device, which is, you can't say that about pretty much anything else on the market today that's going to be used around sleep. Now, I'm not a big, look, I don't think you should be overly concerned with like low levels of EMF, because I think you can get a little bit neurotic. I've seen people get really neurotic around like, oh my God, I have to make sure that there's no possible any electromagnetics, anything around my room. And that's typically going to be coming out of phones or Bluetooth tracking watches that you're wearing, or even the rings, the Oura Ring. Those have Bluetooth, and so they have a radio on them, so they're intentionally emitting EMF. Any kind of thing that you're wearing to sleep these days that you're going to buy on the market for like $300 or $400 all have some built-in radio and high levels of EMF. So if you are EMF sensitive, then what this program is like really incredibly perfect, because this little device has no such radio even in it at all. It's not even possible. This doesn't have like a Bluetooth mode in it or anything. This is just a pure low-grade MP3 player. You put the audio on this, and then the headset is a little headphone jack. So you plug it in right here, just like that. Okay, so now it's plugged in. Okay, and then you have this. And so this is just a little pair of speakers. No EMF whatsoever on this. There's nothing of note on this system, which is really good. So yeah, so you're not going to get any kind of like interference or anything like that with your brain. Okay, so yeah, so this is the best type of little Pebble MP3 player that you can get for this program. Now, once you go into the document, you're going to find that there's a full set of instructions and a full set of, guidelines on what you're going to be actually listening to on the audio, which is really important. And so I'm just going to pull this up here on my end and then do a little screen share so you can see it, because I think it is important to at least try to understand what we're going for here. Google Chrome. There we go. Great. Okay. So this is the document that is linked here in the chat and in the description of the video. And this is it's just a few pages, okay? So it's going to describe like kind of a little bit about more of the science, all this kind of stuff, the cholinergic system that we're engaging here, and about the audio program. Okay. Key thing to understand is that the audio is very specific and intentionally selected for the words that are used on it. So the words are highly, how would I say, vetted to be non-reactive words. They're very intentionally chosen, and the words are phonetic. So the words chosen on the audio sleep program, the file that's in this document that you load onto the MP3 player, is specifically chosen to have a high potential for engaging your visual mnemonic system, which is your memory center of your brain. Your mnemonic system is how your brain remembers the relationships between one thing and another. That's called mnemonics. M-N-E-M-O-N-I-C-S. Mnemonics. Okay? And so there's a list of the words in here, and there's also a video that details what the words are actually saying here. And so I'm going to open that up too. Okay. And so this is going to be all in the document, all for you to read and to learn about. But the first 10 words that are said in this sleep audio system is going to be Thai, Noah, Mo, Ro, La, Joy, Ki, Fi, Pi, and then toes. And number 10 is toes. And what's happening here is that we are trying to encode visually in your brain these specific items, these specific memory visuals that you're supposed to see, like you're replaying a movie in your mind. And what we're going to do is start plotting one after the other, after the other, after the other. And we want to kind of create a sequence of a movie in your own mind. All I'm going to do is just call out the word number 1, Thai. And what you're going to want to do is in your mind's eye while you're laying down, while you're wearing, this beautiful sleep mask over your eyes, and while the audio is playing in that sleep mask, you're going to be seeing the visual movie of a man putting on his tie. Okay? Then I'm going to say Noah. And Noah is just the Noah's Ark. You're just trying to see a boat on a rocking sea, the big wooden boat in the background. So I'm going to say Noah. Noah. And as I'm saying that, all you need to do is to remember intentionally the visual movie of Noah's Ark. And how do you access that movie? Well, because these are little pictures. The link to the video is right here. So the link to the actual YouTube video is here. So I clicked on this link. It's called Mnemonic Peg Sleep Audio, and I'm going to click on that here. So this is the video that will play. Let me just double check, see if there's any. Yep. Okay. So this is the video that will be playing. Let me make sure that's okay. Good. You can see I have a YouTube Premium. Yes. So okay. So like I said, the first item is going to be a video of a man putting on a tie. And so what's going to happen is as you get better at this, when I'm saying number 1, tie, you're going to put all of your effort, as much as possible, to clearly seeing this clip replaying in your mind, as if it's literally right there in front of you, as if you're watching it in a full virtual reality headset, okay? So when you're laying down in bed, you're going to want to engage your visual memory of this clip, your even potential auditory pathways. So if you want to remember what the sound of that is, the fabric rubbing against each other. You can remember that. And what you're really trying to do is override the memory system that's always on, that's trying to keep you awake by having you remember, oh, the task that I forgot, or oh, that conversation I had when I was 16 that was embarrassing. You don't need to remember that kind of stuff. And the reason that stuff is happening is because your brain is always just in a memory remembering state. Your brain is always remembering things all the time. And so what we're doing is we're just saying, hey, brain, remember this? Remember number one? What was number one? Oh, tie, a man putting on his tie. Okay, good. Now, let's go to number two, which is Noah's Ark. Well, really two, Noah. Two, Noah. Two represents an N in the phonetic system. And I say phonetic because the list goes up to more than just 10. The list goes up to all the way up to 25. So we have to know how to generate a consistent list of words that are connected to the number so you can do instantaneous recall. So if I say, what is number 25? Then I would say 2 is represented by the phonetic N, and 5 is L, with an L. 5 is an L sound. So I say, okay, N, 2N, 5L. The word that's represented by 25 in the phonetic memory system is going to be nail, Nail, nail. So you're going to see a nail being hammered into a piece of wood. That's what 25 is. So that's when we talk about phonetics, and when I'm saying to Noah, is really training you for the full, robust, longer system. Because the system, if you do join our full program, will take you all the way up to 100. So when you join the program, you get access to the full 100 list. For here in the Facebook group, just for free, you get the 25 point list. So you're going to go all the way up to 25. So that's what phonetics represents. And so just N, Noah by itself is this one. Okay? So we'll go to the next one. 3, mow, lawnmower. This is mowing a lawn. Very visual, very crystal clear, very easy to remember because there's a lot of action happening here. Okay? 4, row. A lot of people rowing a boat. 4, phonetic row. The word chosen for 4 with a r sound is row. Very easy. 5, law. 5, law. See, just like I said, 5 is L, and if we combine 2, Noah, with 5, so we create 25, and we go, okay, we need a word that starts with an N, and has an L in it, like a L sound. So we chose nail. So all the words are already predefined in the list. That's already established, okay? So we're not asking you to kind of create your own thing for 25 because the visual references are already predetermined. It's up to you, though, to start remembering and replaying these images in your brain when you're trying to go to sleep. And I promise you, trust me on this, you will start to fall asleep very quickly when you're incorporating these visual mnemonic lists right as you're trying to go to sleep. It's pretty incredible. It's kind of mind-blowing how effective this is. 6, joy. So number 6 is joy. Joy being dish detergent. All you people in Australia, stop complaining. It's dish detergent. It's called Joy in the United States. That's how we chose it. Anyway, I've forgotten one comment from somebody's like, oh, I was really turned off when I saw number 6 was Joy. I don't use Joy. That's not my brand of dish detergent. I'm like, come on, get out of here. I hope you're joking. Anyway, so 6, joy. 7, key. So you want to see that key really jammed into that lock. Perfect. 7, key. like a steel key, something really hard. 8, fee is this man kind of being like, oh my God, I'm being charged so much. I'm just like shocked. The bills are just crazy. I usually see a receipt with the item interacting with it. Like, let's see, we did a memory test where I said, I want you to associate cheese with the number 8. How would you do that visually speaking? And it described a method you could do. So you want to see this guy right here on the screen, this visual picture, but you want to see the receipt that he's holding, but unfortunately, somebody poured melted cheese all over the receipt, like hot, burning, boiling cheese, and it just ruined half of the receipt. So he no longer can actually see the bill, the fee that he got, 8 fee. And so, yeah, now every time every time I have them recall that specific list, I say, well, we'll start with the list that started with coal. Number 1 was the position. We start with the index number, number 1. And yeah, so then, an hour later, if I were to ask somebody, hey, what was number 8 on that list? So 8, the initial core peg is fee, 8 fee. And then I say, what was the item that we associated with number 8? And they could, okay, so there's a fee, like a receipt, and I'm seeing like hot yellow cheddar cheese flowing on it. So they'd say, okay, the word was cheese. So I'm trying to remember this. Now, if you can put this in the context of like people feeling like they have like PTSD or trauma or anything like that, you have to understand that the reason someone's traumatized is they continually refer back to the traumatic memory, and that can cause stress. It'll shut down your vagus nerve very quickly. But if I start saying, I want you to remember what number 8 was on the core peg list, and they go, fee. It was the word fee, like a bill or a receipt. Okay? And then I say, what was the word we had you peg in there last week? And they go, fee. I see cheese. Like I see visually in my mind, I see cheese being poured on a receipt. And then I see the disappointment of this guy being even more horrified that now he's got this fee that he's got, and he can't even read what the costs are on this thing. How terrifying, or whatever. It's kind of a jokingly like overacting. You can see in this guy's face, he's clearly overacting his disappointment in the fees that he's gotten, right? And so it's fine to feel that emotion too. Like everybody's felt that emotion, but it's not like connected with like a sense of risk or danger or anything like that. So it's okay to feel things when you play these movies, these mind movies in your mind when you're trying to go to sleep. So anyway, so that's number 8, fee. Then number 9 is phonetic and pi. 9 pi. Oops. 9 pi. Yep. Perfect. And then 10 toes. 10, and then you want to see this as like a movie that you're trying to remember, like a little mini short clip. So anytime I ask you, I want you to remember, close your eyes right now if you're watching. If you're driving, don't close your eyes. But close your eyes right now, and then just try to remember what number 1 was on this list. Number 1, tie. So I'm saying tie with your eyes closed. Try to visually remember what the first index word of the core peg list is. Number 1, tie. Do you see a guy putting a tie on, a blue tie with kind of a light blue shirt? You're kind of seeing him from the neck up. So that's number 1. Now I want you to see that movie clearly in your brain. I'm going to go back to it so you can play it again. Oops. Okay, we're going to hit play. I'm just going to show you number 1 again. That's number 1, putting a tie on. Okay? So you should be able to recall that movie, that little clip, like a perfectly replayed movie. Your brain is capable of playing back things that you have from your memory with pretty good accuracy. Now, it's not perfect, but it can be close enough. And Another question I like to kind of pose to people is, if you're going to therapy to deal with a traumatic experience and you're talking about the traumatic experience, but you can't remember a 10-point list of items that not only have a phonetic component, a 1 through 10 component, and a visual, crystal clear, stock footage video connected with it, if you can't tomorrow recall to yourself by just sitting down and saying, what was number 1 on that list? You should immediately just put your hands up to your neck, okay? So I want you to do this. If you think you have a hard time remembering, just say 1 tie, and then I want you to take your hands, put your right one up to your collar, and start like cinching an invisible tie, okay? Do it physically with your hands, and like you're pulling tight that tie, just like this guy does in this video. Okay? See, he's got his hand here. You're going to be cinching that tie up, and that's how you remember number 1. So that should never be an issue for you from now and for forever. If I met you on the side of the road in 5 years from now, and you're like, hey, oh man, I'm a big fan of your group. I've tried to watch like almost all of your videos. You're freaking a genius. And I'd go, awesome. What was number 1? And you go, oh God. You should immediately go, number 1, tie. And I'd go like, you rock. So that is how important this memory system is. Now, the question I pose to you is, if you're in therapy and you're doing work on talking about your trauma from childhood, and you're trying to do work in your memory about what happened and try to make meaning out of it with, imperfect recall, right? You think you're like, oh, I remember what happened so clearly, like it was yesterday. And then I say, okay, can you learn a simple 10-point mnemonic phonetic list of items? And you say, no, I'm terrible at that. Then I'm like, well, what are you doing in therapy? You can't remember a 10-point list, and yet you're thinking you're going to go to a therapist and recall your past from 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, and then try to do work on that. Your memory is not even good enough to remember 10 things. How are you going to remember a series of actual events that took place over years or months or weeks or a day from a decade ago? Like, are you nuts? What kind of drugs are you smoking that makes you think that that's ever going to work? You need to have a good basic mnemonic memory palace before you can even really go and be confident that you're actually doing memory work in a therapy session properly at all. So if this seems difficult to you, I'm just going to tell you, it's difficult to not know how to do something like this. This is like basic stuff. And I'll just tell you, people in our Facebook group who we don't even work with, who aren't technically clients, they do this kind of stuff all the time, and it's like, it's really pretty easy to get this. So anyway, so going back to the very end, so number 10, toes, that's number 10. Now the whole video here includes all of the different pictures and references that we need, including 25, nail, nail, number 25. A nail being hammered into a wooden object. Now, if you're going to try to remember that, it's just a nail. So you're gonna have rote memory, mnemonic memory, visual memory, auditory memory, humorful memory, and emotional memory all being engaged while you're sleeping, while you're trying to go to sleep, so that you're not able to engage in the other stuff that's completely unnecessary. Sure, yes, is it good to think about at times, what are some of the items that I didn't get to today? Yes, that is important, but that's best for the next morning or the end of the day, not right when you're trying to go to sleep. Dummy, come on, get out of here. So anyway, so that's the mnemonic PEG audio that you have here. And then I'm just going to paste that real quick in the chat so you can actually go watch that, and you can go listen to that. The whole memory program is listening to this while you're drifting off to sleep and trying to recall the actual visual memory system. However, because I'm not a big fan of you having your phone out next to your bed playing, audio clips because you're like, haha, I'm going to save myself the $14. I don't need to buy an MP3 player. What's this Sterling kid doing? I have I have $1,000 phone that I got. Why would I need to do that? The problem is that your phone is the gateway, is the portal to everything else also. And you don't want to be in this headspace where you have access to a phone at night, because typically you see a lot of insomnia people. Partially what's happening is that they have a bad memory, they're unable to sleep, and the next thing they jump to is going to be their phone, okay? They're going to just reach for their phone and say, oh, I'm just going to start surfing through social media or watching YouTube videos or whatever. So you do want to get your phone away from yourself as fast as possible, as far away as possible, but you still need to play the audio. So that's where the actual, the little MP3 player and the head speaker comes in. And so in this document, you're going to find the links to the actual, the exact same headset that we have here. So you can go buy that. That costs nothing. And then there's the blue MP3 player, which you load the audio on to this little guy, right? And then you plug it in like a headphone thing. And that's it. And in this document, if you go here to, I believe, page 4, so page 4 of 9, you can download the audio file in MP3 format using this link. So you click this link, and it will take you right to the audio, and then the audio can play, right? So this is the audio, and then you go up here in the upper right-hand corner, you click download, and then it will download it to your computer. And then you can send it to your little MP3 player that you have here. So other than that, that is the insomnia treatment. It works like gangbusters. It's crazy how effective this thing is. I probably will put in we have testimonials from this already from people who have used it, and on day 1 they were like, I slept like another 8 hours tonight. Like I haven't slept for 3 hours more in years. And so just this audio has been effective for really being, it is an effective vagus nerve based treatment for insomnia. It's effective. It works. It's crazy. So that wraps up the video on the insomnia cure. Just wanted to get that out there again. We released that last week, and I just want to make sure people have a really clear kind of understanding of how that works, as well as over the last few months, we've done a series of videos on the memory system. So if you're intrigued by this and you want to start learning a little bit more about how memory and your vagus nerve are interrelated, they are very interrelated. Memory and vagus nerve are like hand in glove with each other, okay? So you can't remember old things if you aren't in the right autonomic state. If your vagus nerve is unengaged, it's going to be difficult for you to remember things from the past. And so if you need to sleep, your vagus nerve needs to be accessing memory functions, like plugging in like a little switch operator from the old phone line systems. The woman who'd be like, ring, ring, and she'd be like, okay, where do you want to patch through to? She's like, Chicago, and she's like, one moment, and then she takes the little plug and she sticks it into the Chicago switchboard. This is what your vagus nerve is doing with your brain all night. And so most people have a switchboard operator that's just like, we got to switch into something. We got to plug into some kind of thing. And it's like, well, okay, how about every embarrassing, bad, traumatic memory that I've ever had in my life? The perfect time for me to remember all of this is right as I'm trying to go to sleep. That sounds like a great plan. Thank you, brain, for doing that. And so that's not optimal. That's totally sucks. So instead, we want to engage that memory switchboard operator of your vagus nerve for while you're going to sleep to really good things, tie, Noah's Ark, mo, ro, la, joy, ki, fi, pi, toes, and on up to 25, which is nail being the 25th one. And then that audio will repeat again, and after about probably just with the first playthrough or the second playthrough, you're basically going to be asleep already. That's how fast this thing works. It's It's kind of crazy how well this works, actually. So proof is in the pudding. What I would recommend if you want to just try it without having to, go, hurt in the bank. This is like, I think, $14 and $14. So it's like $28 all total on Amazon for these items. $28 for these items. To always have something that you can reach to if you're having a difficult night going to sleep. Probably not a huge investment. I've spent more on a pillow than I have on this. And guess what's helped me more with insomnia? This stuff right here. This $28 has done more to do fixing insomnia or difficult sleeping nights than even these $50 pillows that I have. I mean, I like pillows. I like good sheets. You gotta have good sleep systems. But this audio knocks all those things out of the park. And the audio is for free. So you can go get the audio now in the link posted in the chat and in the description and give it a try. What I would recommend is if you, again, don't want to break the bank and just try getting one of these MP3 players, you can, for the first night, just play it on a phone nearby or put your AirPods in or something like that. You can do that, but that's a very suboptimal way to do it. But I understand you're like, I have really bad sleep issues. I need something right now. I need help. Then in that case, then what I want you to do is to actually go ahead and, just play it on whatever device you have available. Play it out loud on whatever device you have available. If you have a partner in bed who, you have to wear some AirPods or wear something in your ear so you can listen to it as you go to sleep. The good news with wearing like AirPods or whatever is that typically they fall out. Hopefully you don't lose them, but I always find my AirPods if I lose them in bed. So you should be fine. But yeah, give it a shot. It's a very effective system. Okay. All right. Thanks, YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. You know what to do. See you.